So I'm pretty sure by this point, either you were born in the 80s or you've heard of the 1975 and the kind of pop thing that happened after that. So the band Camino, for example, seemed to take on this aesthetic pretty well, which is what got me back into this kind of sound, and a band called Hotel Apache. What I wanted to do was jump on the Helix and put together kind of a preset that got that kind of vibe for me. And the main thing for me is that the clean tone kind of has this big full sound, like massively produced. And it sort of sounds like a chorus of guitars even with just the one, and especially like there's a big bass response is the thing that I've kind of noticed. Even though it's compressed, you want to get it like... So I think this could be useful for folks. I'm just going to put the reverbs on a switch actually. So this is the clean tone. Just big, full, really kind of squashy, but also has a lot of life to it and a lot of that bass still coming through. This sort of thing I guess you could use for... or... but we're using the multi-band compressor to kind of avoid that thing where you get kind of like thin sounding stuff. It's kind of trying to stay thick, kind of the whole range and whatever kind of lightness you're picking at. And you might remember that for the Camino thing I was using the Placator Dirty, but actually on this preset now I've gone back to using kind of my favourite lead settings-ish. So using the Line 6 Litigator and the Dodd Odie 250, and you get this kind of thing. I can't actually play today, but the principle is there. It's kind of my typical lead tone, but then kind of put through an 80s lens. And then we've got kind of delay settings if we want them. I'll just show you the compressor settings to give it a try, so that I'm not just taking from you, but let me know in the comments if you want me to drop this into the folder. I think it's a pretty fun sounding preset. So here's what we got going on. The 3-band comp you'll see up in the left hand corner here. So without that, if we look at the amp settings, We're just using a US double vibrato channel, the vibrato channel of a Fender Twin. Drive at 2.9, so super clean. Bass at 5, mids at 7.3, treble at 6.5, presence at 3.9. That's going into 2x12 male C12Q with the 414 condenser 2.5 inches away. High cut nice and high, and the early reflections at 16, and I'm pushing the level a bit there. And also we've got, so it's a dual cab, the 2x12 with the 121 ribbon, 2.5 inches away, 16 again, 24, and the level pushed up. And the compressor settings that I found that worked for this kind of thing, 12:1 ratio, so pretty extreme. The attack 35, release 199, the low cross frequency, so I think this is talking about where these splits are for the compressor, 312 and 1.4, the level at +3, and then the low threshold is at -40.6 dB, and I'm pushing the low gain up by 12 dB. The mid threshold is -50.5, pushing that by 11.8. The high threshold is 55.9, pushing that by +6. And when you're on the compressor block, you can see so you see the mids are getting compressed the most, right? And that low one and this was the block that I found it was easiest to get me that kind of response that I want from the kind of squash, but also having loads of low end, so it doesn't feel like the guitar's just getting really thin. I think I've done other videos talking about these settings, but I've got a 70s chorus. The classic mode puts it so that you've got a dry on one side of the stereo path and then the affected signal on the other, so you get a really nice effect from that. We've got the vintage digital, Trinity chorus, dynamics flanger as well, 63 spring into the dynamic plate. So, you know, quite a lot going on. And if you want me to drop it into the folder, let me know. It will just be £27. £27, I think that's reasonable for one preset. So that's the new policy. I'm just kidding. You know how it works for me. But I'll catch you in another video soon. And cheers, thanks for stopping by. Let me know if you want that preset in the folder.